The number of people taking illicit drugs has stabilized in recent years. Just under 1 adult in 20 worldwide takes drugs, at least occasionally. But barely half of 1% of the global population suffers drug dependence. That's about 26 million people, of whom some 200,000 die each year due to their addiction. A figure dwarfed by the millions who die from their dependence on alcohol or tobacco. On the face of it, the global drug problem is finally under control. Countries like Morocco, still the world's major producer of cannabis resin, and Colombia, still the world's main cocaine producer, are making concerted efforts to fight the drugs trade. The results have been impressive, but with a worrying side effect. Drug production is being driven into territories beyond government control and into the hands of insurgents. The supply of drugs is actually surging, funding feuds with national authorities and financing factions whose goal is global instability. Most notorious of all, Afghanistan. A record opium harvest in 2007 means that Afghanistan has almost single-handedly doubled the world's heroin supply in just the past 2 years. Despite token efforts at eradication, the poppy fields are largely under the control of insurgents in the lawless south of the country, funding the Taliban's fight against the fledgling Afghan government and its Western backers. And now, Afghanistan is close to becoming not only the world's major supplier of heroin, but also of marijuana.
2/3 of the country is either opium-free or with very low amount of cultivation, which can be dealt with by law enforcement. The bulk of the cultivation is in the areas controlled by the Taliban, and that is where insurgency and narcotics, or if you wish, fighting insurgency and fighting narcotics should go together.
So, while global drug abuse is stabilizing, global drug production is escalating. The fear is that increased supply will trigger increased demand. Already the cocaine traffickers of Colombia are focusing on easier routes via West Africa, where potential profits have the power to corrupt lawmakers and law enforcers, and where many millions of people offer a potential new market for addiction.
The threat to the stability of the world drug markets this year is coming mostly from supply, increased supply of cocaine from Colombia and continuing increased supply of opium from Afghanistan.
UNODC says that while law enforcement is obviously a key weapon in the fight against illicit drugs, they are concerned that many countries treat dealers, traffickers and users brutally, some imposing the death penalty for drug-related crimes.
We know that drugs kill, especially heroin. We don't need to kill because of drugs. We don't need to kill either the traffickers or the, even less so, the addicts.
Governments tend to focus on illicit drug use as a crime, where in fact it's an illness, just like addiction to tobacco or alcohol. Marijuana, for example, still by far the most widely used drug, can now be so powerful and addictive that it rivals many hard drugs in its potential for psychological damage.
The potency can be 5-6 times higher than the marijuana we are familiar with from Morocco, or for that matter from Afghanistan. The toxic element of it, which is called THC, it's a bit technical, can reach 20, 22, 28%. When I was in school in Berkeley long ago, as a flower kid in Berkeley, it was 2%, 2.5%. So we're talking about a very, very potent variety of marijuana with very serious health consequences, now widely recognized.
The UN says the most important step in preventing a resurgence of drug abuse is to treat those who are already addicted and to educate those who may be vulnerable to addiction.